Is Europe losing Africa? The EU's uphill battle against Russia and resentment. A pact forged in Brussels. As the Horn simmers and the Sahel fractures, Europe and Africa locks arms, not as donor and recipient, but as uneasy equals. The third EU-AU Ministerial Meeting was not just about pledges. It was a test for a quarter-century partnership straining under geopolitical tremors. What happens when old allies confront new realities? Let's dissect the promises and the pitfalls of this dialogue. This is Jalene Tesfaye for Analytica Today. On 21 May 2025, while Kigali buzzed with African security innovators, Brussels hosted a quieter but no less consequential showdown. The EU and AU foreign ministers convened not to reminisce about 25 years of partnership, but to answer a burning question. Can this marriage survive the age of Wagner, warring narratives and waning trust? The meeting's communique brimmed with familiar refrains: peace, prosperity, multilateralism, yet beneath the diplomatic veneer lay tectonic shifts. France's shadow receded from the Sahel as Russia's Africa Corps advanced. Sudan's war birthed the world's worst humanitarian crisis. In the Horn of Africa, that strategic pivot watched as Europe's rhetoric collided with its own resource pragmatism. This was no routine summit, it was a recalibration. The Sahel dominated discussions like a specter. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas admitted Brussels was drafting a new Sahel strategy, even appointing a special representative, a tacit acknowledgement that France's exit and Russia's entrenchment have left a void. But words rang hollow for Bamako, Niamey, and Ouagadougou, now welded into the alliance of Sahel states, with severed ties with ECOWAS and the Francophone with Kremlin-backed defiance. Kallas's warning about Russian misinformation hinted at Europe's anxiety. Its once unquestioned influence now competes with drones bearing Cyrillic letterling. Yet, the EU's silence on Wagner's rebranded Africa Corps spoke volume, a gap between Brussels' concerns and African realpolitik. While Sudan's war and DRC's turmoil drew pledges of African-led mediation, the Horn emerged as the quiet battleground for EU-AU economic ambitions. But here, the partnership's asymmetry glared. The EU touted $1 billion in peace facility funds, while AU delegates whispered about conditional aid and unfulfilled vaccine promises. Ethiopia's presence at the table, despite its intern conflicts, underscored a grim calculus. Stability often trumps democracy in the scramble for resources. Kallas's lament about fighting Russian misinformation revealed Europe's Achilles heel, its struggle to sell itself as a partner of choice. The EU's emphasis on UN-centric multilateralism was a subtle rebuke to unilateral sanctions and vaccine hoarding. Meanwhile, African civil society groups boycotted side events, decrying tokenism in a stark contrast to Kigali's inclusive security showcases. The EU's Green Energy Initiative and AFCFTA support were bright spots, yet overshadowed by lingering distrust. As one AU diplomat noted off-record, Europe lectures on rules-based orders while striking gas deals with military juntas. The communique's loftiest pledges, peacekeeping reform, counterterrorism financing, youth empowerment, echoed past unmade promises. The EU Silencing the Guns initiative, now 5 years old, remains underfunded, while EU missions in Somalia and Mozambique grapple with mandate ambiguities. The African Humanitarian Agency, touted as a beacon of self-reliance, still lacks the capacity to address Sudan's 30 million crisis victims. And for all the talk of fair energy transitions, Europe's hunger for African LNG and critical minerals risks reducing the partnership to transactional extractivism. Brussels 2025 was neither breakthrough nor breakdown. It was a holding pattern of a recognition that the EU-AU bond must evolve or erode. The real test looms at the 7th AU-EU summit later this year. Will Europe heed Kagame's Kigali call for an outsourced African agency, or will it cling to a donor-recipient script in a multipolar world? This is Jalene Tesfaye. Until next time, stay critical, stay engaged.